So as we've done more and more projects, we have acquired more and more ladders, which is very handy when you need a ladder. But as you can see, they've just kind of ended up piled up against the house here. The grass and the weeds are growing up around them. It makes it hard to manage that. Doesn't look very nice. So today I want to create some kind of rack system up here where I can hang the ladders. So the first issue is to figure out where my supports are so that I can mount the rack to the wall. Now you'd think I could just go into the studs, but because we've got this Hardy Plank cement board for siding, you can't just use a stud finder and find the studs to bolt into. Now I know I could do that on the inside, and I could just maybe measure, mark off of a wall or a window or something to try to get precise placement for the studs. But I think what's going to be easier, because I think I'm going to want the supports to be or the rack to be right about the same place where the ceiling on the inside is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the attic and I'm going to measure down from the vent that's up there and see if it lines up where I want it to be. Now back outside, measuring down from the vent, I do think that height is going to work out just right. I can put the rack at the height of the lower framing that we were looking at, and that'll be the right height outside for the ladders. Also, that'll give me just enough room that I can put flashing above the rack and kind of tuck it in under the siding. So I think the next step is to just remove all of this stuff, get it out of the way so I have a nice clean, obstruction-free work zone. And then after that, I'm going to set up my 2x6 and I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to put the marks on there of where the screws are going to go in so that they avoid those plates. Well, I just uncovered these. This is my old ladder hanging system. It's just two boards with two hooks on them, and the top fastened to the underside of the eave, and the bottom just kind of sat on the ground, and that allowed me to store two ladders horizontally. Worked really well when I only had two ladders, but now I've got five, and two of them are extension ladders, and so it's definitely time for a better system. Okay, I'm pretty sure that my system is going to work the way that I want, but before I drill all the holes in the rack and before I drill all the holes in the house, I think I'm going to drill one hole and make sure that it's where I expect it to be on the inside, and then after that I can do all the rest. Okay, so I'm a little bit of an idiot. I just went into the attic to check to see if I drilled in where I thought I was drilling into, and height-wise, I was exactly where I thought I was going to be. But I said I needed to avoid that center bracket, and I didn't. I measured right into the middle, I drilled right into the middle, and I hit that bracket dead on. So I knew this, I just forgot. So I got to, instead of having the center screwed in, I need to just go outside 5 inches on either direction, and then I can work my way out from there. So I think now I'll just get two holes in the rack, and I can get that up there, and then I can get all the rest of the holes in. Every time I have projects that require climbing up ladders, carrying tools, balancing lots of things, I always overestimate and think it's going to be easier than it's going to be. But inevitably I end up dropping drills and dropping tools and having trouble balancing and getting everything level and lined up, and this project was no different. I had all the normal problems of doing this kind of work, but eventually I got it all up and installed, and it seems nice and secure. I even got the flashing to overlap. That was a little bit tricky, but having a 2x6 that's 12 feet and then having flashing that's 10 feet meant that I had to have a little section on the end there where they overlapped, and I had some trouble kind of getting it behind the siding and on top of the rack, but I got it all in there, and it actually sits tight enough that I don't think I'm going to fasten the flashing at all. I think, if I was I could glue it maybe. I don't want to put holes in it, and it slides underneath or behind the siding really easily, and it sits up there nice and firm. So I think I'll just keep an eye on it. If it seems to be shifting or anything, then I'll look at putting some glue in there. But it seems like it's a nice tight fit. Okay, well that wasn't so bad. I got the brace up there, and now I get to do the fun part, which is to decide which ladders go where. I've got these kinds of brackets for the larger ladders, and I've got these kind for the smaller ladders, and so now I get to do the fun part. All right, and there we go. I am super happy. I've got 5 ladders now hanging on the wall. They're off the ground. I can weed under them, much more organized. I even have spot on the end for a 6th ladder when the time comes. One of the things I've been learning is I always end up with more tools and more equipment, so when I organize, I've got to make sure that I leave room for the future projects. Well, this was a fun project. I've been doing a lot of projects lately that are days, weeks, and even months long, and it was really fun to do this one. This was like a 2.5 hour job. I had already painted the 2x6 a couple days ago, but other than that, got everything done today, and we'll count this as a win.